Good evening and welcome to Parker Jackson Tonight. I'm your host, Parker Jackson. Up on our show tonight, with AR starting to kick things off in high gear, President Bernard Caldwell has been nowhere to be found. We speak with the administration press secretary, Lion Claw 233, to get to the bottom of where our president has been. Also tonight, as the American roleplay gets into full swing, Americans have questioned the strength of our military. I talk with military high command tonight on the current power of our military. And finally, with the new Constitution published, our Fox News correspondent Samir joins us to break it down. All that and more tonight on Parker Jackson. And good evening, everybody, and welcome to our show. It's a busy news night tonight, and we're going to start off with where in the world is Bernard Caldwell? Many of our viewers have reached out to us asking why he has not been making many public appearances, and we're here to get down to the bottom of that tonight. The president has made no attempt to come on any media shows, as well as not put out very little statements in the past week. The American people are starting to wonder, what in the world is he doing? Joining me now is Lionclaw 233, who is the press secretary for the president. How are you doing tonight?
I'm doing good, and first of all, I'd like to thank Michael and you, Parker, for inviting me on this show today.
Yes, exactly. Now, thank you for coming. Now, I guess, what has Bernard Caldwell been up to? Because us as the American people really haven't seen him in a while. So where is he?
I can tell you that the president is focused on finalizing this nation's development overall. I will say this: I don't think any president has the time to be a news pundit. I do think he is through personal DMs with the president. I know he's focused on setting up the USM, LE, judiciary, finishing the legislature. So I can tell you that the president is making progress. And I do take issue with the attempt at other foreign parties and domestic parties to turn what has been a relevant success into a failure.
You bring up the
Well,
relevant success. What success have you had?
this this is a new experiment. AR is a new experiment that has broken off from NUSA. It is the success I'm talking about is the development of the federal government. We already have a Speaker of the House. We have almost 10 senators, and the executive branch is almost fully staffed. For a nation that has tried to scratch off from nothing after being ruled by tyrannical Paul, that is a success. No nation has been able to do that, and we have. So, and this president is not a normal president of the United States in any way, shape, or form. This president has been helping with the dev process. He's been helping with the development, helping Risen and Richo. So it's not like he's sitting there and doing nothing. He's doing well beyond even what a normal president of the United States has to do. And I think that's clear, and that's why I take issue with this attempt from partisan politics to try to demonize the first president of the United States of America. But I do not think the American people will buy it. I think they will see that this nation is functioning and it's in shape and we're ready for launch.
Now, you bring up the difference between AR and NUSA. What is this administration doing to make sure that AR does not end up like NUSA and other past groups that have tried to start up?
I can promise you this nation will be nothing like NUSA. NUSA was ruled by tyrannical. One of the reasons NUSA failed, there wasn't a connection with the people. This president has already made that connection. He's reached out to the American people. We've already published multiple White House press releases under me that have talked about the specific things that the president is focused on and is willing to do.
And what are
So
those things?
this president is, firstly, he's focused on, one of the main things he's focused on is finishing the LE, because we need to get that starting. That I see as well the intelligence community. Those are the things that we're really focused on because they're, I don't like to say this about any United States agency, but they are slightly behind in development in terms of the United States military, which has been accepting enlistments already. So those are the two main things that he's focused on right now, and he's also helping with the devs process. So I can tell the American people that.
Now you bring up him doing all these other things that a normal president wouldn't. People may argue that these other things that he's taken on is taking away from his time and his duties as president. How do you respond to that?
I think that's outrageous, really, because without a proper devs process, there is no nation, there is no society. So I don't think that taking time to help developers to develop our cities, our infrastructure, the houses you will live in, the offices people will work in. I do not think that's taken away. That's actually part indirectly. That could be considered part of what a president has to do, promoting the infrastructure of his nation. I think that's something easy to understand, and I do not realize why people are trying to paint it in some sort of demonizing light. It's not.
Now, let's get into the goals of the administration. So, once Las Vegas comes out, I assume everything will be getting into full swing within the administration. So, I guess what is the goal of the administration for, I guess, the first 2 months in office? What is their major goal? What do they want to get done?
We want to stabilize this nation, get it on its feet. We can tell you that we've already made significant progress. We all watched, we all saw as AR overtook NUSA in the United Nations, and our Secretary of State, great Secretary of State Bayan, has been all over the world, Egypt, the United Kingdom, Italy, etc., trying to rally the support of other like-minded democratic nations, so we could strengthen our position abroad. Now, the president does realize that strengthening and this is something that he very much disagrees with the Republican Party platform, strengthening American prestige and strengthening American standing on the world stage does not mean that you go and you invade every country or you have to send military, and being a militaristic nation is not something that we're focused on at all. It's not a goal. We will maintain a strong military so that we could support the country, but we will not become imperialist. We're more focused on using diplomacy and rallying other like-minded nations, and that's why we're so focused on in talks with the United Kingdom, rebuilding NATO, Italy, etc. has been in talks to join it as well. Egypt, I believe, has been in talks of joining it as well, and we'll see what happens.
Yeah, and you bring up good points. Now, I want to ask you one more question tonight, and that's on the rise in organized crime groups coming into the American role play. So you saw BLM is now integrated into American role play and other crime groups such as that. How does the administration plan to, I guess, attack these groups to make sure they don't ruin our country?
We plan press down hard. We plan to crack down hard, and we're not going to allow them to tear at the fabric of the nation. They came here because they're a bunch of chaotic, I don't want to say losers, really, chaotic
Indeed.
losers who have decided that since they have destroyed NUSA with the crime rates, it's disgusting that they're gonna come here and try to destroy AR. But we have everything in place. We're gonna execute it flawlessly. We're gonna get them off our streets. We're ready to arrest them. Uh, we're ready to use lethal force if necessary. But we will not allow marauding gangs to take over our street. That is never going to happen under this administration, neither this president.
Thank you very much, Lion Claw, for coming on. I always appreciate getting to talk to people within the administration. I believe you cleared up a few key issues that the American public had. So thank you very much for coming on.
Thank you.
All right, that's our first interview of the night, but don't worry, we have a long show left. Coming up next, I'm joined by a dude named Philippes, and he is one of the military high coms in our nation. And we're going to figure out what is going on with our military and how strong it is. Also, we're going to be sorry. Also, we're going to be digesting the Constitution that was just released, and we're going to be taking and breaking it down for you tonight with Fox News correspondent Samir. We'll be right back. And welcome back to Parker Jackson tonight. Joining me now is Vice Chief of Staff of the Army, Britannic, and we're basically going to be talking about how strong is our military tonight if we can withstand military pressure from other countries. So thank you for joining me, Britannic. It's always great to talk to some military command on the show.
Of course, yes. Thank you for having me.
So I guess the first question is, how strong is our military right now?
Well, I don't know about the slow development of some of our branches, but I do know that the Army is doing terrific right now. Thanks to the brilliant leadership of the Chief of Staff of the Army, Ghazi, we are set to be ahead of the other branches. We are recruiting far more than the Navy, the Air Force. We have training procedures. We have leadership staffed. We are prepared for launch. We had our first basic training yesterday ahead of time. Two graduates. Great to see people actively partaking in the army. But Honestly, yes. The whole military as a whole is mighty. We are prepared to take on any threat. But I will say this: we are in early stages, and it can only get better.
So, if we were to get into some type of conflict, would our military as of now be able to hold our ground, or would we have to push back and rely on allies to assist?
Um, at the moment, we are in early development, so it does depend. But I do believe we'd be able to hold off for a good amount of time.
Okay, okay. So, how many members do we have exactly now in the military? How many, I guess, soldiers would we have in our hand in case we were to have to deploy somewhere? How many do we currently have? How many certified, trained soldiers do we have?
Trained, we have about, I believe, four. But we have many more enlistees who are on schedule to be certified by tomorrow and over the weekend.
How many enlistees would you say?
Are we projected? We're seeing about
Yes.
20. Um, accurate, we have about 10.
Okay, so if worst comes to worst, we'd have 14 military trained members, correct?
That is on the Army's behalf, yes.
So, would you say that's strong enough to hold our ground still, or no, with just 14?
Honestly, um, for the moment, we definitely will not be a target of any invasion. If intelligence is accurate. One, we're not even launched completely yet. We're not in full gear. We're not going. We're not going 120% as we should until launch. We're just ensuring everything's going smooth. We have our procedures ready, inspections ready, and we do plan on holding an inspection when we have 10 trained professional soldiers in the army.
Okay, so we're starting off small, and I understand that. But do you believe that our military will grow even more once we start kicking things off? Because it's kind of concerning that you said we might only have 10 trained members for an inspection.
Well, no. I'm saying that when we do reach that number, which will be very soon, I'm probably saying 2 days, because people are very interested. We have forms, and I will say, the chief of staff of the army is currently at work, and he has not today he has not had time to check the enlistee database. Speaking of that, we do have a database recording these numbers. Um, he is doing an amazing job. We are not going slow. We're going at an above average rate. Um, we have enlistment processing to do as well. We are getting more in the season than what was expected at the beginning of the enlistment process.
Okay, so for anybody that's interested, what does the enlistment process look like and also the training? What goes on within those processes?
Could you repeat that?
What does the enlistment and training process look like? So, like, what do y'all do during those processes? What does the training consist of?
Um, from what I recall, I don't have the training procedure on me obviously right now. It's a form. We give them basic education on military structure, pay grades, etc. There's a basic obstacles. We have a very short period where we do phases. That's not a priority at all, like other Row Nation militaries, which separates us from the rest. Um, right now, you can go ahead and join the 82nd Airborne. We only have one division open, and we have a lot of tech ready to move ahead, including custom aircrafts for airborne and custom parachutes and artillery.
And
Oh, and
yeah,
obviously basic gun training.
yeah, and I mean, thank you for coming on and I guess just giving our viewers an understanding of where we are militarily right now. Always great to speak to you. I hope you have a great night.
Yes, you too. Thank you.
All right, guys, coming up, we're wrapping up the show with Fox News correspondent Samir joining me, and he's going to break down the newly released Constitution. We'll be right back.
Yes, thank you for having me.
And welcome back to the show. Joining me now is Fox News correspondent Samir Winters, who is here to break down the newly released Constitution with us. Good evening, Samir.
Good evening. Good evening.
How are you doing?
I'm doing very good. Very good.
All right. Well, I guess go ahead and get in. Let's get into it. Let's break down this Constitution. So, I guess what's it stating? What's it all about? Go ahead and break it down for us.
So, I think that the Constitution, like how it's been written, it's a very, very beautiful. It's like a very beautiful design, and it's been written out like very thoroughly to match both in real life and anything that happens in on the Roblox community. So, um, all right, I guess we'll start on the interesting part. One of the interesting parts is Article 1, Section 2, where it says, no person shall be a senator who shall not have attained to the age of 6 months on Roblox and been 2 months a citizen of the United States, and who shall, when elected, be an inhabitant of a different United States of America group on Roblox. So what makes it interesting is that it's saying, to be realistic, we're because of the era, most of you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, I think it's a quite good idea that they're making it. So they're making them basically pick whether do they want to come and be a senator for American role play. They cannot be an individual in any other group, and I kind of like that idea, as well as the 6 month thing. So we can't do any of these weird alts. I know back in NUSA there was a bunch of people that made alts and came in on different names and different Roblox accounts
Yeah,
after they were
yeah,
banned.
yes, a lot of problem happen. A lot of problems happen. Like because a lot of parties sometimes may make outs. I don't know if this has happened in other United States role play groups, but alts for parties, and the problem with that is that it's not real people, and it basically be a fraud in a sense.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I know for all the people that have come from Noosa, I can't tell y'all how many alts Casey Montague was under. I mean, it was probably more than three. But
Casey Montague, she's a very interesting person. It's been a lot about her. Anyways,
all right. What's the other interesting parts of the Constitution?
I mean, it's there's a lot of interesting parts. I mean, like, okay, so Article 2, I guess, Section 1, I guess it's talking about what will happen to become president, I believe. Yes,
Mm-hmm.
so it says the president shall be elected by popular vote of electors who must be current citizens who have been naturalized for at least 1 month and who are not inhabitants of a different United States of America group on Roblox. After the votes have been counted, the person, yeah, blah blah blah.
You
So
already.
about this, um,
Mm-hmm.
this is kind of interesting because the for Congress, it seems like it's a more harder thing to get into Congress than just becoming the president of the United States. I mean, I guess you do have to have elections and all of that, but still, you just need to be 1 month, uh, uh, 1 month in AR and not be in another United States of America group. And
Mm-hmm.
in Article 1, Section 2, they are saying that you have to be uh, 2 months and a specific age on Roblox, uh, can be in a different United States of America group too. So, like, it
Mm-hmm.
seems like it's more harder to either become a senator.
Yeah, definitely. And I'd say that's very justified just in the current state that we're in to make sure that we don't get all these alts. We don't have everything going on like that. I mean, thank you, Samir, for coming on and I guess just breaking down those little parts of the Constitution with us tonight.
Yeah, 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 yeah. I agree. I would like to ask you a little question, if you don't mind.
Mm-hmm.
So I know I oh wait, sorry. I was just DM'd by someone who would like to discuss about the purge part in the Constitution.
Well, unfortunately, we're out of time tonight, but have them contact me tomorrow night and we can get them on. But again, thank you, Samir, for joining us. And
Uh
I believe Michael Smith is on the phone with us right now, and he's going to give us a little sneak peek on as to what's going to come up on his show tonight. Michael, can you hear me?
I can. Thank you all for having me. Thanks, Parker.
What's going to be happening on your show tonight? I heard you have a packed show.
That's right. We thank you for letting me on. I appreciate it. So, we're gonna have a jam-packed show tonight. We're gonna be talking about the launch of RT that happened just, I believe it was last night, that we didn't go on the air, folks. We had some problems, technical problems at our building, but we are back tonight. I mean, we're gonna be talking about digesting the studios, the graphics design, the terrible anchors. It's just Russian propaganda. We're gonna be digesting tonight. We're also gonna be digesting the Zardovex subpoena. That is very big news. They're gonna be subpoenaing him based on his actions with Russia and other communists and foreign nations. I think that is going to be we're going to have a great show. I mean, it's just not even that. We're going to be talking about the Constitution. We're going to be talking about game development. A lot of new things are coming up. Do not go anywhere. The Smith angle will be immediately following Parker Jackson tonight on the Fox News channel.
Yeah, and I mean, it's going to be a very interesting show. I cannot wait to watch. Thank you, everybody, for joining us tonight. It's been a great episode. Thank you to all of my guests who've come on. I hope you all have a great night, and we'll see you back here tomorrow.
Yep, thanks.